What's up, everybody? YuGiOh 101 discussion here for the early prediction for the September 2012 ban/restriction list for YuGiOh. Keep in mind that a lot of these cards I'm going to be talking about they had conversations on them in the form of YuGiOh Wiki. So I got a few of these from them, and I'm just going to elaborate on them. Now, I would also like to say that when people make suggestions for these, ban lists, I'm not saying that they're actually going to be done, or they're actually, are going to be taken into consideration, but, just for um, um, social purposes, you know, first you have to understand why the card was put on a ban or restriction list to begin with, before you say something about it getting unbanned or unlimited or whatever. That way you don't make yourself look like an idiot. And as you're going to see with the cards that I have written down, it's quite a few of the stupid suggestions. And of course, I'm not going to do all the ones that I seen, but, just the ones that I feel like deserve to be touched on, unlimited, limited, semi-limited, or banned, etc. So, yeah, we're going to start that right now. I apologize if you hear some background noise. It is kind of loud in here. So, yeah. But with that being said, yeah, so let's start the predictions. First off, we have Future Fusion. Now, I noticed that a few people were speaking about this card being, kind of overpowered for a lot of decks, mainly because of Chaos Dragons. Um, I don't know, I think it should stay limited personally, because if everybody's complaining about, Chaos Dragons, then what is it that Future Fusion is, uh, is, uh, is, targeting in Chaos Dragons that makes it so, quote unquote overpowerful? What is the main target of Future Fusions? Maybe they need to limit that. Then would Future Fusions be any threat? If that's the case, that's what I'm thinking, but I think it needs to stay limited. Other people think it needs to be banned. It probably will be banned, but I don't think nothing needs to happen to it personally, because, that's what it is. But the next up is Rescue Rabbit. Rescue Rabbit, I can see that being semi-limited. Other people think it needs to be banned. I don't think it needs to go that far, at least not now. I think that the Dino Rabbits, they need to be uh, slowed down a little bit. Just a little bit. So I think it needs to be semi-limited. Banned is a bit much, so I don't think that's the right call. Wind Up Hunter, Wind Up Zen Mighty, and Wind Up Rat. Now, I'm going to speak on all three of these simultaneously. Now, back in May, when I had spoke on the ban list predictions, then I had talked about how Wind Up Rat and Wind Up Zen Mighty needs to be hit, but I've seen some other people say that Wind Up Hunter needs to be hit, and I can understand why they said that, because without Wind Up Hunter, they wouldn't have anything to tribute, and they wouldn't be able to discard all those cards out your hand, on that first turn, or on the user's first turn. But the reason why I say that Wind Up and Zen Mighty should be hit is because when Wind Ups first got out, Hunter wasn't even that big of an issue. It wasn't. It wasn't until Zen Mighty and Rat came out that Wind Up Hunter became that big of a threat, that big of a problem, and that loop happened. That's the key card that makes the loop so imbalanced, because you get to empty out your opponent's hand on your first turn. So, and it's very few decks that can recover from that. And even then you got to worry about the luck of the draw if you draw the right card in order to help you bounce back even just a little bit. So, like, out of all the cards, I would think that Hunter would end up getting limited. You know what I mean? Because then it just turns into like a field swarming build, like off of that loop. Like I don't really think it's that much of a issue without Hornet, because even with that, like then at least the windups will still have something. You know what I mean? Eh, Um, like they can still get their swarm on, but they won't be so dangerous. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't know. Me personally, like I would, the one I would get rid of is Rat. Like that's the card that I would limit, because like without Rat, you're not able to special summon from the deck. You know what I'm saying? But there's multiple reasons why I feel like one of these cards should be uh limited. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. People in here. My nephew was in here shaking keys, rattling them. But yeah, like I was saying, the one that I feel like should get hit the most is Rat, because think about it. Without Rat, you won't be able to get all those special summons. You won't be able to even get uh Zen Mighty out like that. Even though Zen Mighty, that card also the special summons too, but still, you know what I mean. Rat seems to be like the key card out of that loop. So, me personally, like I would limit Rat or Hunter. I would limit Rat or Hunter. So yeah, but that's just my suggestion. The next card is Insector Hornet. This was one of the cards that should have been hit last format, but I think that card needs to be limited seriously for obvious reasons. For obvious reasons, like I shouldn't even have to speak on that. So I'm gonna just move on. The next card is Heretic Dragon King Atum. Right now it's unlimited. I think it needs to be limited because it is this special summon loop that gets people crazy exceed summons, and you get to fill up your side of the field. Like I've seen somebody else had made this prediction, and I think that what should happen is that it should get limited, because like you're not able to do that loop with just one. So I think it needs to be limited in order to balance out that build. Um, Next card is Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. Right now it's unlimited. I think it needs to be semi-limited. Because right now, like having 3 copies of it, I think it makes it overpowered, because when you look at a card that's overpowered, it's not necessarily that monster, that one individual monster. It's how many copies are in the build. Like if you have 3 Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragons, you can get a ridiculous amount of summons, for no cost whatsoever. 2 of them, I think it will slow it down a little bit. So, like, it's a part of me that thinks it needs to be limited, but I think if anything happens to it, then it might get, like semi-limited, if anything. But moving on, I seen somebody else made this prediction. Evozar Solda, unlimited, to limited or semi-limited. I'm guessing the reason why somebody made this prediction was because, even though it's a level 6 exceed monster, it still is nearly indestructible, and it gets to stop like special summons, easy. Mind you, like it can only happen twice, but while it has exceed materials on it, it does have like 2600 attack, and it is indestructible to the card effects. Like it can't be destroyed by card effects while it has exceed materials on it. So I don't know. Like I think it would be alright if it gets semi-limited, but I'm not really too concerned about that card. Mind Control. Right now it's limited. somebody made the decision that somebody had made the prediction that this card should be banned, and I don't think it needs to be banned because first off, it is nothing like like the other cards that were similar to it. You know, with mind control, you can't attack, nor can you tribute the monster that you had used the card on. So I don't think nothing was going to happen to it. I think it's going to remain limited. Light Pulsar, right now it's unlimited. I think it's going to get semi-limited. You know, right there with Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. Lone Fire Blossom, right now it's limited. Somebody made the prediction that it needs to be semi-limited. In all honesty, I think it needs to get semi-limited too. Because Lone Fire Blossom, it helps out a lot of the plant decks, and it only targets plant-type monsters. And it really isn't, you know, that big of a deal with, you know, Spore and a Glow-Up Ball being banned. You know, that plant Reborn Tengu deck, you know, Lone Fire Blossom, that pretty much was the reason why that card got limited. If not the reason, it was one of the reasons why it got limited in the first place. But since that, you know, Lone Fire Blossom, it's not that big of a deal, but it can help out like a lot of plant decks, and it won't be, you know, so, you know, overpowered. You know what I mean? But yeah, like I think that's one of the cards that should be semi-limited. And now we get to the stupid stuff. Now, remember what I said earlier in the video that some people need to check the reason why a lot of these cards were banned or semi-limited or are still unlimited, you know, or limited, you know what I mean? So people need to check the reason why these cards were hit or never touched to begin with before they make these type of suggestions. Because, well, you're going to see what I mean. The first one was Reborn Tengu. Right now it's semi-limited, but people want it unlimited from what I seen, from what I read. Now the reason why this is stupid because those same people that say Reborn Tengu needs to be semi-limited to unlimited, and it needs to go to unlimited, are the same people that say that Spore and Glow Up Bulb are banned and they need to be unlimited and semi-limited. I don't even think those two cards, as far as like Spore and Glow Up Bulb, would be limited, yet alone semi-limited, or let alone unlimited. Because, let's be honest, Spore and Glow Up Bulb are two no-cost tuners. You know what I mean? And it was a reason why they were banned to begin with, and I'm going to leave it at that. And mixing that with Reborn Tengu, even though Reborn Tengu was an issue, you know, like with the Tengu Plants build, I don't know, like what y'all think about that? I'm gonna leave that up to you guys to speak on that. The next one that they spoke on was Miracle Fusion for the Elemental Heroes. The Miracle Fusion right now is unlimited. People say they need to be semi-limited in order to slow down the Elemental Heroes. I kind of agree with that because Elemental Heroes, you know, like something needs to happen to them because like they are kind of fast and they need to be like, you know, like slowed down just a little bit. I think semi-limited, you know, like it'll be all right. Marshmallow from semi to unlimited. I don't know, like I don't really see Marshmallow being that big of a threat as it once was. Mind you, you know, like the opponent does take 1,000 damage, I believe, when it attacks it face down. Yeah, like I don't know. That's another one I'm gonna leave up to y'all. Mistworm. Right now it's unlimited. Some people say it needs to be semi-limited. That one right there to me was so far-fetched, I didn't even bother with it. But I know that some of these cards won't probably even be touched. Mind you, that this is just for discussion. That doesn't mean any of these cards that I spoke on or any of the suggestions that other people have made will even happen. Mind you, back in May, Konami, they pulled a hijack move. They bitch slapped everybody because they didn't touch any of the cards people thought were going to get touched. You know what I mean? They were money hungry, and they still are, and they wanted to, and they took it upon themselves to make a business move in order to make more money, and that was to keep a lot of the cards that, truthfully, if they were more interested in keeping the game balanced, a lot of those cards would have been, hitting like way back in May. So, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so that's going to be it for the September Banlist predictions. So what do you guys think? Like, do you agree with some of the cards being switched to, unlimited, limited, banned, or whatever, or any of the other predictions that I just read to you that other people have made or that I made? And what are some of the cards that you feel should be hit and put on the banned and restricted list come September? I know it's kind of early. This is just the early prediction. I did this last time, but it's just for discussion. Don't take any of this shit personally. Please don't. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here, and you guys have a good one. Peace.